Your Majesty at your service. Welcome to Fair Queen Talks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my podcast, The School of Life. One of my guilty pleasures is watching movies based on true stories or reality TV. Both types of programming are very different. Most of the time, when a movie is based on a true story, you hear about the incredible humans who have been able to achieve something in their lives. And these films take the viewers on a journey to discover their path. Reality TV shows normally thrive on drama and contention. It depicts a period or phase of the lives of individuals that are going through many changes, challenges, and because of this, you see them in a different light, as their stories are being told as it's happening in the present time. I've heard from several people that reality TV is mind-numbing and doesn't add anything to people's lives. From my perspective, I think there is some value in learning from both types of programming because it teaches you lessons based on hindsight and one based on challenges being faced at the time of recording. As viewers of these types of programs, we can easily judge the actions of others and justify our critique. We can view these types of programs as entertainment, or my preference, as a lesson. In this episode, I want to explore the idea of life being like a school, with the hope that you will, in turn, consider to be a student of your own life and choose to be educated by your life experiences. The lessons you learn in your life are unique to you, as you know and understand the details of your life. Haruki Murakami was quoted to say the following: "The most important thing we learn at school is that the most important things can't be learned at school." End of quote. This is because theories need to be applied to become real or proven. I hope that by viewing your life experiences as lessons, you will learn to appreciate every experience for what it is. I'm not sure if you've ever played Pac-Man, but I love this game. For those who haven't heard of it or played it, I'll explain. Pac-Man is an action maze chase video game. The player controls the character through an enclosed maze. The objective of the game is to eat all of the dots placed in the maze while avoiding four colored ghosts called Blinky, the red one, Pinky, the pink one, Inky with like a cyan greenish blue color, and Clyde, the orange one, who are all pursuing Pac-Man. When Pac-Man eats all of the dots, the player advances to the next level. The ghosts chase Pac-Man around a maze to keep him from eating all of the dots, subsequently not being able to get to the next level. If Pac-Man is caught by a ghost, he loses a life, and during the game, you have several lives. The game ends when all lives are lost. The end of the game is that Pac-Man gets eaten by the ghosts. So ultimately, there's no actual like winning in the game because I think there's over 200 levels. But the lesson in that game is that it's impossible to keep going on forever, and eventually you will run out of lives in reality and die. That's ultimately the end. So Pac-Man is a bit of a realistic game that there's no huge prize, but some people are able to make it to the end. So why do I mention this? Why do I mention Pac-Man? In the early years of our lives, I feel that as humans, we are a bit like Pac-Man, just eating the dots in front of us. These dots can represent things our parents or guardians present to us, and we just consume it. Things like values, culture, and so much more. In many ways, our parents or guardians are the players of our lives, and we will follow the directions they take us. If you think of them taking the roles of players, it is their responsibility to protect us, so Pac-Man, from being consumed by the four colored ghosts. The ghost of life could be seen as anything tangible or intangible things that could slow down our ability to get to the next phase or level of our lives. Unfortunately, not all parents and guardians are perfect, and like many Pac-Man players, have had to practice a lot to get to each level. And therefore, Pac-Man, and us as their children, sometimes can get consumed by ghosts. The more experienced Pac-Man players can help navigate Pac-Man through all the levels of the game and to get to the final level, which is number 256. The game has not been designed to grant Pac-Man immortality, so to live forever. And just like us humans, Pac-Man's life ends. Even though it's a sad ending, it is really hard to get there. And in actual life, or in our recent history, only 11 players in the world have been able to achieve a perfect score at the Pac-Man game and get to the end. There comes a point in most people's lives where we are no longer being played by a third party, and we either become the players in our lives or we give others the ability to be players in our lives. Example, our employers, organizations we may be involved with, romantic partners, children, whatever controls us or leads us in many ways. I would encourage all of us to work towards being the player of our lives. It's already enough for our parents and guardians to have taken reign over our lives in the early years. There has to be a point where we get the bird's eye view of our own Pac-Man journeys and choose how we navigate the levels we find ourselves. The reason I like the Pac-Man analogy is because in some ways life can feel like a game, a school, a scam, or something else. It really depends on your perspective. If we view life as a game, we see others as competition and can become competitive in our nature. We may become strategic, calculative, or simply focused on getting to the next level without appreciating the experience of each level. And this is why it is important to consider viewing life as a school. In this way, you open yourself to learn from each level, be present in each part of the game, and reflect on all of your observations. You will still work towards getting to the new level. However, you'll enter into every level being teachable, being open, and willing to fail. And most importantly, have a healthy mindset throughout the experience. In the past 2 years, I have learned to reflect on lessons of my life, not only during challenging moments, but also joyful moments. I would like to share with you why it's important to be educated by the lessons in your life during negative and positive experiences. So I'll start off with the bad. So, when it comes to negative experiences, why is it important to learn lessons in tough times? I'll give you 2 points. One, times of difficulty allow your brain to hone down on your vulnerabilities and fears. When you understand your vulnerabilities and fears, you're able to decipher whether you are acting in fear or faith in your life. And most importantly, what parts of you need protecting and setting appropriate boundaries. When you have a fear-based approach in life, you're motivated to take certain actions and thought processes because you can only view the potential danger and harm that may befall you. Fear only teaches us what we shouldn't do. Although failure is not the desired outcome for most of us, it perhaps can be seen as a stepping stone to success. When we fail, we can learn what worked well and contrast it with what didn't work well. And the better you can refine this, the better systems you can put in place to succeed. The lesson here is we all have vulnerabilities and fears. It is up to us to work on improving our relationships with these parts of ourselves and manage its impact on our decision-making processes. And number two, negative experiences expose parts of you that you need to heal and work on. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but part of this exposure to yourself, it gives you the opportunity to work on things you didn't consider needed repairing. I would encourage you to not be critical of yourself when this happens and be willing to find support to aid your healing and self-improvement. The lesson here is use your pain to take steps to heal those parts of you that are broken. Now, let's delve into the reasons why it's important to learn lessons in joyful times. And again, I give you 2 points. One, when you are at your happiest, you produce something called dopamine and serotonin in your body. Dopamine is produced in your brain and serotonin in your gut. Dopamine and serotonin are molecules that send signals throughout the body. These chemicals affect how we feel. When dopamine is released in our brain, we feel a sense of temporary pleasure. Serotonin, while similar to dopamine, creates a long-lasting feeling of happiness or well-being. This is because it stabilizes your mood and anxiety. Knowing this, if you reflect on moments you can acknowledge you were at your happiest, you will know what type of activities you're doing that produce the happy molecules in your body. And most importantly, you'll be able to identify what you can do in different parts of your day and general life that will make you happier. This has been so helpful to me because I now have a clear idea of what makes me happy. So the lesson here is if you know something makes you happy, do it more often. And number two, on this podcast, I focus a lot on living happily ever after. The point of living happily ever after is to get to a place in your life where you have learned from your challenges, made changes in your life that will enable you to both get out of your challenges and enjoy the rest of life in a peaceful manner. When we truly know what makes us happy, we can get to the happily ever after part of our lives much quicker. We will come to realize that happiness is a direct result of experiencing moments that bring a smile to our face and warm our hearts. And this can happen every day. And the more happy moments we note, the more happier we will be. And we will be living mostly happy moments. Life doesn't need to be perfect for us to be happy. The lesson is that we should focus on what makes us happy instead of being happy 100% of the time and do more of the things that release happiness and good molecules in our bodies. We navigate so much in our lives, and I hope that you use this podcast as a tool and aid to improve the journey of your self-awareness, improvement, and achieve your goals. When researching this topic, I came across a website called the School of Life. It's a global organization there to help you learn, heal, and grow. They're devoted to bringing you calm, self-understanding, better relationships, deeper friendships, greater effectiveness at work, and more fulfillment in your leisure time. They do this through articles, books, apps, films, therapeutic services, and corporate offering. I can promise you that I am not being sponsored to advertise this, but I think when you see things that are good, it's good to share. I believe in highlighting services and individuals that will help you as a listener. So feel free to check them out at www.theschooloflife.com and let me know what you think about them. You can reach out to me on Instagram, TikTok, or email me at fairyqueendom@gmail.com. Whatever lessons your life experiences are teaching, make sure that you find ways to record it, reflect on it, and most importantly, learn from them. At the end of each episode, I address the queendom. Be an engaged student in the school of your life, because life can only be a lesson when you choose to be educated by your life experiences. Knowledge is power, and when processed and truly understood, can turn into wisdom. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of my podcast, Fairy Queen Talks. See you next time.